What's up, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing Barlow's powder paint. This one's a copper and black vein, and this one is a gold and black vein. I've always really liked how certain jig heads like Jewel kind of turn out. They've kind of got like a cool little copper and black calico look, or black and gold. So I found these off Barlow's, and I was hoping that they're going to be very, very similar. So let's fire up the old oven, get some jigs made, and see how they turn out. All right, first thing we're going to do is turn on our little microwave oven here and get our little, it's a little tin that I just rest the jig heads on, and so kind of got something to stand on. So we're going to take some of our 3/8 ounce Arky style jig heads that I just kind of made up. We'll only do a couple of them. We'll do 2 of each. Just kind of resting them on there. Kind of got some holes already done for them, so just kind of stick them down in there. Pick them up, put it in the oven, and I'm going to let them warm up for 8 or 9 minutes. I've got it set to bake and just on. So 8 to 10 minutes later, we'll come back and fire up the fluid beds. All right, well, those are finishing up. We're going to come over here. I already got the bubble blocks turned on, and we're going to start with, I believe this is the copper one. These are the fluid beds. I made these in a previous video. Yep, this is copper. So I'm going to make sure the nozzle's all the way off. A little bit open. Plug in the air hose. And just slowly start turning that nozzle. We start seeing some life. It'll gain a lot in volume. What I've been doing, I think I need to switch out the paper in the bottom to something a little bit different, because I've been getting a lot of volcanoing with just plain printer paper, so I probably need to switch some sort of like paper bag or something like that from the grocery store. Keep adjusting that nozzle until I start getting it very fluidy. It's starting to break up a little bit. There we go. A little bit of volcanoing there. I'm just kind of keep working it until it gets where I want it to be. If you can see down in there, it's really starting to get very fluidy. Just a little more. So it's bubbling around those edges quite a bit, doing a lot of volcanoing. You can really tell that it's gained a lot in volume, so it's really nice and fluffed up, very fluidy. All right, with our fluid bed rolling good, and these jigs have been in there for about 7-8 minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to just grab it, kind of pull it out a little bit, grab one of them with a pair of pliers, come over to our fluid bed, just dip it in there real good. Just kind of knock off the excess. Well, try to knock off the excess. Okay. Now I've got a little rack here hanging up, and I'm just going to place her on there, let her dry. Do the same thing with another one. We're going to do 2 copper ones here. Excess off. Okay. Hung up to dry, and now we'll get the gold one ready. And I'm just going to close this up until we get that gold one ready. All right. We've got the gold and black vein going. It's nice and fluid in there. I'm going to give it a little bit more. Like I said, I need to replace the paper on the bottom of this one too. Just get it good, and it's volcanoing a little bit too much, but for the sake of this video, we'll be all right. Just make sure she's nice and fluffy and fluidy. So, got our 2 jig heads in here, so we're just going to grab one, dip it, lock it off, hang it to dry. Same thing with another one. Okay. put it on the rack to dry. Alright, now that the jig heads have cooled down a little bit, one thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I kind of get all the paint off of this eye here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to take a pair of pliers, just kind of work it a little bit, kind of get it started. Like I said, make sure you got all the paint off that eye. Don't want it to close up, then you won't be able to get your line tied, and then once it's baked on thoroughly, you're not going to be able to get it off. So make sure it's good there. I'm going to take a little stand, put it back on there. Just do this with all of them. Sometimes you get it going with your fingers. But if it's stubborn, make sure to use a pair of pliers or something. Gold ones. Now these will look a lot different after they're baked. The way they're looking right now, it's not going to look how they're, once we bake these again, they'll look a lot better. Should, hopefully. And I'm not putting a ton of pressure on that with the pliers. I don't want to dent or make an area where my line can fray. Just enough to kind of loosen up that paint so I can get it away from there. All right, so I got them back on. I guess this is what they look like after they've been dipped once. And like, without baking them again, your paint is not going to adhere well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that, come back over to our little oven here, put that in there, give it 7 to 9 more minutes, and we'll come back and check on it. All right, it has been 8 minutes. We're going to pull these things out and take a look at them. Turn the oven off. And don't go grabbing them. Make sure you use pliers if you're going to look at them right up front. But so that's what we're kind of looking like now. That, for whatever reason, the back of that one didn't get a ton of spots show up. The bottom of it did. Not entirely sure why. I don't know if it's the fluid bed, whether I dunked it in there too hard, didn't break it off enough. Come on, focus. This is a little better. Some of the gold ones. That gold one looks really cool. A lot of black on it. Come on, focus. There you go. Yeah, looks really cool. Alright, I'm going to let these cool off a little bit. Kind of give you my final opinion on them once I get a good chance to really look at them. Alright guys, after looking at these for a little bit, I've kind of come to some conclusions on what I like, what I don't like about them. I really kind of like the textured look to them. They're definitely kind of a cool color. I'll post up just a picture here so you can kind of really get a good look at them. But one thing I'd really like for them to have is a little bit more black in it. I don't know if this is something that's as simple as just adding black powder paint to my fluid beds and kind of mixing it together and seeing if that helps. If you guys know and have had that experience, drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. If just adding black powder paint to it will make it a little bit darker, it's definitely something I'd like to do, especially with this gold. The gold's kind of, it's a little gaudy, I feel like. It might look good once I get a skirt on it and everything, but yeah, I think overall just a little bit more black in it would be awesome. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the jigs and how they turned out. And yeah, like, subscribe for more to come. We're going to start building some skirts next. Thanks, guys.